The world watches with bated breath. From the tense standoffs in the Middle East to the horrors unfolding in Eastern Europe, a sense of unease hangs heavy in the air. Are these isolated incidents, or are they harbingers of something far more ominous? The ground beneath our feet seems to be shifting. The tectonic plates of geopolitics grinding against each other with increasing frequency. News reports flash across our screens, each one seemingly more alarming than the last, painting a picture of a world on the brink. Is this the dawn of a new era of conflict? Or are we simply witnessing the death throes of an old world order struggling to cling to life? The answers, like the times we live in, are complex and multifaceted. To truly understand the gravity of our current situation, we must look beyond the headlines and delve into the heart of these crises. We must examine the historical precedents, the geopolitical chess game being played on the world stage, and the underlying currents of fear, ambition, and ideology fueling these conflicts. Only then can we begin to grasp the magnitude of the challenges before us, and perhaps find a way to navigate the treacherous path ahead. The stakes have never been higher, and the consequences of inaction too dire to contemplate. The world is holding its breath, bracing for what comes next. The recent airstrikes conducted by India within Pakistan's Punjab region, the first such incursion since their 1971 war, have sent shockwaves through the international community. This act of retaliation, a response to a devastating terror attack in Kashmir, has reignited long-simmering tensions between the two nuclear-armed neighbors. The specter of 1971, a year etched in the memories of both nations, looms large over the current crisis. Back then, the world watched with a mixture of horror and fascination as India and Pakistan engaged in a bloody conflict that reshaped the geopolitical landscape of South Asia. The echoes of that war, the stories of loss, displacement, and enduring animosity continue to reverberate through the generations. The current escalation, though seemingly contained for now, has raised serious concerns about the potential for a wider conflict. The international community, still grappling with the ongoing war in Ukraine, is acutely aware of the devastating consequences of such a confrontation. The specter of nuclear war, once unthinkable, now casts a long shadow over the region. The memories of 1971 serve as a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict, a cautionary tale that underscores the urgency of finding a peaceful resolution. The world watches and waits, hoping that cooler heads will prevail, but bracing for the possibility that history may once again repeat itself. The situation on the India-Pakistan border serves as a stark reminder that the wounds of the past can easily be reopened and old rivalries rekindled. The recent surge in global conflicts, from the escalating tensions between India and Pakistan to the ongoing war in Ukraine, has cast a pall over the international community. What was once unthinkable, war between nuclear-armed states, the invasion of a sovereign nation in the heart of Europe, is now a stark reality. This normalization of warfare represents a dangerous shift in the global order. Experts point to a confluence of factors contributing to this unsettling trend. The end of the Cold War has given way to a multipolar world order characterized by uncertainty and competition. The established rules and norms that once governed international relations are being challenged, if not outright ignored, by state and non-state actors alike. The rise of nationalism, populism, and authoritarianism has further fueled this trend, emboldening leaders to pursue aggressive foreign policies and prioritize national interests over global stability. The proliferation of advanced weaponry, coupled with the increasing sophistication of cyber warfare and disinformation campaigns, has lowered the threshold for conflict. In this new era of hybrid warfare, the lines between conventional and unconventional warfare are blurred, making it more difficult to deter aggression or contain its spread. The international community, grappling with the legacy of past failures and divided by competing interests, has struggled to respond effectively to this evolving security landscape. The consequences of this normalization of warfare are far-reaching and profound. It undermines global stability, erodes trust between nations, and creates an environment of fear and uncertainty. The human cost of conflict, already staggering, is only set to rise as more and more regions are drawn into the vortex of violence. The geopolitical landscape is in a state of constant flux, with power dynamics shifting like the sands of the desert. The unipolar moment dominated by the United States in the aftermath of the Cold War is fading into memory, replaced by a more fragmented and unpredictable world order. The rise of China, both economically and militarily, has challenged the established hierarchy, while other regional powers such as Russia, India, and Iran are asserting themselves on the world stage. This power transition is not without its frictions. As nations jostle for position and influence, the potential for miscalculation and conflict increases. The established rules and norms that once governed international relations are being tested and in some cases rewritten. The concept of a rules-based order, long championed by the West, is facing growing resistance from those who see it as a tool of Western hegemony. This multipolar world is a complex and challenging one, requiring a new approach to diplomacy and international relations. The old paradigms of containment and deterrence may no longer be sufficient to manage the complexities of this new era. Cooperation and dialogue, even with those with whom we may disagree, are essential to addressing shared challenges and preventing catastrophic conflict. The stakes are high, and the consequences of failure are grave. The world is watching, waiting to see how this new era of great power competition will unfold. As crises escalate, many turn to ancient texts for solace and guidance. Biblical prophecies, especially in Matthew, speak of tribulation, wars, and anguish. These prophecies resonate today amidst conflict and unrest. In Matthew 24:6, Jesus says, "You will hear of wars and rumors of wars. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come." These ancient words echo in today's news of conflict. The echoes of ancient prophecies are heard in modern turmoil. Interpretations vary, but the message of upheaval is clear. Many see current events aligning with ancient predictions. Are we witnessing the fulfillment of these prophecies? The convergence of ancient prophecies and modern events sparks debate. The world today seems perpetually poised on the brink of conflict. From Ukraine to Jerusalem, from Afghanistan to the Middle East, violence looms large. When news reports of bombings, airstrikes, and clashes are constant. The intensity of these conflicts leaves many wondering if perpetual warfare is the new norm. Behind the sterile statistics and geopolitical analyses lies a stark and heart-wrenching reality. The human cost of conflict for every bomb that falls, every bullet that finds its mark, and every life extinguished. There are countless others irrevocably shattered. Families are torn apart, homes reduced to rubble, and futures extinguished in a flash of violence. The physical and psychological scars of war run deep, leaving an indelible mark on individuals, communities, and entire generations. The United Nations estimates that over 20 million people are currently displaced by armed conflict, forced to flee their homes and seek refuge in overcrowded camps or foreign lands, often facing discrimination, exploitation, and an uncertain future. The loss of loved ones, livelihoods, and a sense of belonging takes a heavy toll, leading to widespread trauma, depression, and a loss of hope. Children, the most vulnerable victims of war, are often robbed of their childhoods, their education disrupted, and their innocence shattered by the horrors they witness. Beyond the immediate casualties and displacement, war has far-reaching consequences for human health, development, and well-being. Conflict disrupts essential services such as healthcare, education, and sanitation, leading to outbreaks of disease, malnutrition, and a decline in living standards. The destruction of infrastructure and economic assets hampers recovery and development, trapping countries in a vicious cycle of poverty and instability. The social fabric of society is torn apart as trust erodes and communities become divided along ethnic, religious, or ideological lines. The human cost of conflict extends far beyond the battlefield and long after the guns have fallen silent. As global tensions escalate, many turn to the promise of the second coming of Jesus Christ. This event offers hope amidst the darkening clouds of a world teetering on the brink. It is a promise of divine intervention, a time when Jesus will return as a conquering king. The anticipation of the second coming motivates believers to live lives marked by faith and service. It is a reminder that this world is not our ultimate destination. The belief in Christ's return provides strength and resilience in the face of adversity. It is a source of comfort in times of loss, a reminder that death is not the end. The second coming is intertwined with the cyclical nature of history, a belief that turmoil will yield to a new era. It is a promise whispered through generations, a thread of hope connecting believers across time. This anticipation is not without its complexities, as different denominations hold varying interpretations. Yet, the core belief in Christ's return serves as a unifying force, transcending cultural and denominational boundaries. It is a reminder that amidst the chaos, there is a greater plan unfolding, orchestrated by a loving God. The rapture, a profound event in Christian belief, envisions believers being caught up to meet the Lord in the air. It signifies a transition to a higher existence, a reunion with Christ, and a separation from earthly trials. The rapture remains a powerful symbol of hope, transformation, and the triumph of good over evil. While the rapture offers a vision of hope and deliverance for believers, it is often juxtaposed with a contrasting period known as the tribulation. This era, as described in the book of Revelation and other biblical texts, is often depicted as a time of unprecedented turmoil and suffering on earth, a period of divine judgment upon a world consumed by sin and wickedness. The tribulation, according to many interpretations, is a 7-year period marked by a series of catastrophic events, including natural disasters, plagues, famines, and wars. It is a time when, as described in Revelation, the Antichrist, a figure of ultimate evil and deception, will rise to power, leading humanity astray and ushering in an era of darkness and oppression. For those who believe in a pre-tribulation rapture, this period represents a time when God's wrath will be poured out upon a world that has rejected His love and grace. It is a time of testing and refinement for those who come to faith during this tumultuous period, a time when their faith will be stretched to its limits. The tribulation, while a sobering reminder of the consequences of sin and rebellion against God, is not the final chapter in the human story. It is a prelude to a new heaven and a new earth, a time of restoration and renewal, when God's perfect will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Beyond the shadows of the tribulation lies the radiant promise of Christ's millennial reign, a 1,000-year period where Jesus will rule over earth with justice, peace, and righteousness. This kingdom, often referred to as the millennium, is envisioned as a time of unprecedented prosperity, harmony, and spiritual awakening, a stark contrast to the turmoil and suffering that characterize the present age. During the millennium, as described in Isaiah 11:6-9, the wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain. For the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. This vivid imagery captures the essence of Christ's kingdom, a time when the curse of sin and death will be lifted, and creation itself will be restored to its pristine glory. The establishment of Christ's kingdom represents the culmination of God's redemptive plan for humanity, a time when the brokenness of the world will be healed and the reign of sin and death will be forever vanquished. It is a time when justice will flow like a mighty river and righteousness will be the foundation of His throne. The promise of Christ's kingdom offers a beacon of hope for a world weary of conflict, suffering, and injustice. It is a reminder that even amidst the darkest of times, a brighter future awaits those who put their trust in the one true King. Beyond the shadows of the tribulation lies the promise of Christ's millennial reign, a 1,000-year period where Jesus will rule with justice, peace, and righteousness. This kingdom, often referred to as the millennium, is envisioned as a time of unprecedented prosperity and harmony, a stark contrast to the turmoil and suffering of the present age. During the millennium, As described in Isaiah 11:6-9, the wolf shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion together, and a little child shall lead them. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. This vivid imagery captures the essence of Christ's kingdom, a time when the curse of sin and death will be lifted, and creation itself will be restored to its pristine glory. The establishment of Christ's kingdom represents the culmination of God's redemptive plan for humanity, a time when the brokenness of the world will be healed, and the reign of sin and death will be forever vanquished. It is a time when justice will flow like a mighty river, and righteousness will be the foundation of his throne. The promise of Christ's kingdom offers a beacon of hope for a world weary of conflict, suffering, and injustice. It is a reminder that even amidst the darkest of times, a brighter future awaits those who put their trust in the one true King. The convergence of current events with ancient prophecies has sparked intense debate and a spectrum of interpretations within Christian circles. While all believers share the core tenets of their faith, the specific details surrounding the end times and the second coming have been the subject of much discussion and at times disagreement. Some adhere to a pre-tribulation rapture view, believing that believers will be taken from earth before the tribulation begins, spared from the horrors to come. Others hold a mid-tribulation or pre-wrath rapture view, suggesting a departure sometime during the tribulation period. Still, others maintain a post-tribulation rapture stance, believing that believers will endure the entirety of the tribulation before being united with Christ. These varying viewpoints highlight the complexities of interpreting biblical prophecy and the importance of approaching these discussions with humility and respect for differing perspectives. While the specific timeline of events may remain a subject of ongoing debate, the core message of hope, redemption, and the ultimate triumph of good over evil remains constant. Ultimately, the interpretation of the times should lead to a deeper understanding of God's character, a renewed commitment to living a life pleasing to Him, and a greater sense of urgency in sharing the gospel message with a world in need of hope. As the world grapples with uncertainty and the weight of global events, the question arises, how then shall we live? For those who find solace and guidance in their faith, the answer lies not in succumbing to fear or despair, but in embracing the virtues of faith, hope, and love, living each day in the light of eternity. Faith, in the face of adversity, provides an anchor for the soul, a reminder that even when circumstances seem bleak, God is still on His throne and His promises remain true. It is a call to trust in His sovereignty, even when we cannot comprehend His ways or fully grasp the unfolding of His plan. Hope, fueled by the promise of Christ's return and the establishment of His eternal kingdom, offers a vision of a future free from the constraints of sin, suffering, and death. It is a beacon that guides us through the darkness, a reminder that this present age is not all there is. Love, the greatest of all virtues, compels us to extend grace and compassion to those around us, recognizing that we are all fellow travelers on this earthly journey. It is a call to be peacemakers, bridge builders, and beacons of light in a world often consumed by darkness. As we navigate the complexities of our time, let us choose to live not in fear of what might be, but in the confident assurance of what will be, embracing faith, hope, and love as our guiding principles, and sharing the message of God's redemptive love with a world in desperate need of His grace. As we've journeyed through these tumultuous times, examining conflicts and ancient prophecies, we find ourselves at a crossroads. The world feels as if it's holding its breath, perched on the edge of great change. The ground beneath our feet, once stable, now trembles with geopolitical shifts and ideological clashes. The challenges are undeniable, but not insurmountable. Humanity has weathered countless storms, emerging stronger and more resilient. The question is, how will we respond? With fear or courage, wisdom and compassion? For many, the current state of the world serves as a stark reminder of the importance of spiritual preparedness. Regardless of one's religious beliefs or theological interpretations, the questions raised by the convergence of global events and ancient prophecies prompt a deeper reflection on the meaning of life, the purpose of our existence, and the values we hold dear. If the world as we know it is truly approaching a time of great upheaval, as many believe, then it's essential to examine the foundations upon which we've built our lives. What truly matters? What legacy do we want to leave behind? How can we use our time, talents, and resources to make a positive impact on the world around us? Spiritual preparedness is not about stockpiling supplies or building bunkers, but about cultivating inner strength, resilience, and a deep connection to something greater than ourselves. It's about fostering virtues such as love, compassion, forgiveness, and gratitude, qualities that transcend cultural and religious boundaries and have the power to heal wounds, bridge divides, and build a more just and equitable world. It's about recognizing our shared humanity, acknowledging that despite our differences in beliefs, backgrounds, and experiences, we are all connected, part of a larger web of life that extends far beyond the confines of our individual perspectives. In a world often driven by fear, division, and the pursuit of material wealth, spiritual preparedness offers a different path, a path that leads inward to a place of peace, purpose, and unwavering hope, even amidst the storms. In this digital age, we are bombarded with an overwhelming deluge of information. A constant stream of news, opinions, and narratives vying for our attention. While the internet has democratized access to knowledge and connected us in unprecedented ways, it has also created new challenges, particularly when it comes to discerning truth from falsehood, fact from fiction. The rise of social media, while offering platforms for connection and community building, has also amplified the spread of misinformation, propaganda, and divisive rhetoric. Algorithms designed to keep us engaged often prioritize sensationalized content over nuanced analysis, fueling confirmation bias and creating echo chambers where our existing beliefs are reinforced and opposing viewpoints are silenced or demonized. In such an environment, it's more important than ever to cultivate critical thinking skills, to approach information with a healthy dose of skepticism, and to verify sources before accepting claims as truth. We must be wary of emotional appeals, logical fallacies, and attempts to manipulate our perceptions through carefully crafted narratives. Seeking truth requires a willingness to engage with diverse perspectives, to listen with an open mind, and to challenge our own assumptions. It also requires a commitment to intellectual humility, recognizing that we don't have all the answers and that our understanding of the world is constantly evolving as we encounter new information and perspectives. In a world awash in information, the pursuit of truth has become both more challenging and more crucial than ever before. It is a journey that requires vigilance, discernment, and an unwavering commitment to seeking knowledge and understanding, even when it's uncomfortable or challenges our deeply held beliefs. As we navigate these turbulent times, we'd be remiss not to acknowledge the profound power of faith and resilience, qualities that have sustained humanity through countless challenges throughout history. Faith, whether rooted in religious beliefs, spiritual practices, or simply a belief in the inherent goodness of humanity, can provide a source of strength, comfort, and hope when all else seems lost. Faith is not about denying the realities of the world or ignoring the very real suffering and injustice that exist. It's about finding a source of strength and inspiration that transcends our circumstances. A belief that even amidst the darkness, there is a light that shines brighter, a love that conquers all, and a hope that refuses to be extinguished. Resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity, to adapt to change, and to emerge from challenging experiences stronger and wiser, is another essential quality for navigating the uncertainties of our time. It's about cultivating a mindset of growth, embracing challenges as opportunities for learning and development, and refusing to be defined by setbacks or failures. Resilience is not about ignoring pain or suppressing difficult emotions, but about acknowledging them, processing them, and allowing them to shape us into more compassionate, understanding, and resilient individuals. It's about finding the strength to keep moving forward, even when the path ahead seems daunting or the weight of the world feels heavy on our shoulders. Faith and resilience are not inherent qualities bestowed upon a select few, but rather skills that can be cultivated through practice, perseverance, and a willingness to lean into discomfort and embrace the unknown. In the face of mounting global challenges and the unsettling feeling that the world is teetering on the brink, it's easy to succumb to apathy, cynicism, or despair. But such responses, while understandable, offer no solutions and ultimately lead to a sense of powerlessness and resignation. Instead, we must choose a different path, a path illuminated by hope, fueled by a belief in the power of collective action, and guided by a commitment to creating a better future for ourselves and generations to come. Hope is not a passive emotion or a naive belief that everything will magically work out on its own. It's an active choice, a conscious decision to focus on the possibilities for positive change, however small or incremental they may seem. It's about recognizing that we are not powerless bystanders in the unfolding drama of human history, but active participants, each with a role to play in shaping the future. Embracing hope means refusing to accept the status quo, challenging injustice, and speaking out against oppression wherever we encounter it. It means engaging in constructive dialogue, building bridges across divides, and seeking common ground despite differences in beliefs or backgrounds. It means supporting organizations and initiatives that align with our values, volunteering our time and resources, and using our voices and platforms to advocate for positive change. It means making conscious choices in our daily lives that reflect our commitment to a more just, equitable, and sustainable world. Hope is not a guarantee of success, but it is a necessary ingredient for progress. As we conclude our exploration of these weighty topics, it's essential to remember that we are not alone in navigating these uncertain times. The challenges we face are collective, and so too must be our response. It's in times of crisis that the importance of community becomes most apparent, reminding us that we are stronger together, that our individual burdens are lighter when shared, and that even amidst the chaos, we can find solace, support, and a renewed sense of purpose in connection with others. Community can take many forms, from close-knit families and circles of friends to faith-based groups, neighborhoods, online communities, and social movements united by shared values or a common purpose. It's about fostering a sense of belonging, a space where individuals feel seen, heard, and valued, where differences are respected, and where support is readily available in times of need. In an increasingly interconnected, yet often isolating world, nurturing strong communities is more important than ever. It's about reaching out to those around us, extending a helping hand, offering a listening ear, and building bridges of understanding across divides. It's about creating spaces where vulnerability is met with compassion, where differences are celebrated, and where individuals feel empowered to contribute their unique gifts and talents to the collective good. As we move forward into an uncertain future, let us remember the power of community, the strength we draw from one another, and the importance of fostering connections that nourish our souls, inspire hope, and remind us that even in the darkest of times, we are not alone.